Hello everyone out there, welcome to another episode of The Domestication of a Nation. Even the title says a lot about these videos. The Domestication of a Nation. In other words, we have learned through the American way and through so many American ways to become domesticated to the American way of life, so we never question anything that's ever done from here on for the rest of our lives. I'm calling this particular episode Devil's Advocate. Here's why. I just ran into an article on, it was like a YouTube video feed. I just happened to catch it. And it had to do with the life, kind of like a life story of the man who put together a year without God. And, I remember some years ago, I had a very dear friend that also shared with me some information with regards to the same. It was like a web thing. And kind of giving a story about the individual that had gone to like a well-meaning church event and said that magic prayer, like so many people do, and they get plugged into the church, and they were suggested to go into seminary school and become a pastor of a church. They got into leadership positions and whatnot. What I didn't know was that this person had been a pastor of a church for 19 years. I did not know this, folks. But at the same time, as I watched the video on this and he was giving kind of like a life story of what happened. I realized, folks, that's why I'm doing this video right now. I realized that it's possible now, after watching this video, it is possible we can have a lot of people in church right now that do not know Jesus Christ, that are assuming that they know Jesus Christ because they prayed a magic prayer some time ago and they never actually exchanged lives with Jesus Christ. This person, it even showed that he was reading his Bible, and people would ask him different questions. He would answer the questions the best he can. But the reality is, folks, and this is something that I've even encountered myself in churches. So it's been one of those things, folks. It's been a real challenge even for me because of this, folks. Even myself, as a person who knows Jesus Christ, has also noticed there is really been no difference between the world and the church. There is absolutely no difference between the two. We're not seeing God doing a whole lot of stuff in America today. We're simply not seeing it. In fact, we're seeing pretty much a polar opposite of the fact that we've got humanists going out and doing humanistic stuff. We've got good people doing good stuff. We've got a lot of people doing a lot of good things that really don't know Jesus. So how does their lives make us any different in knowing this Jesus Christ that we talk about? How are we making any difference in the world in America today? We have buildings full of people who are claiming to praise Jesus Christ, and they're going to church, they're doing the church thing, and yet we are more divided as a culture, we are more divided than a nation than probably any time in our world today. And the thing is, folks, it seems like America is in the lead when it comes to mental, emotional, spiritual division at this point, okay? Just so you guys know, I'm not walking away from the faith. Just want to give you guys a heads up. Like I said, in this particular video, I have properly and appropriately called it Devil's Advocate, okay? Because I'm actually going down this road of asking the question, what makes us any different than the world? What makes us any different than the guy down the street drinking the alcohol? What makes us any different than the guy down there smoking a cigarette? What makes us any different than the guy that needs to smoke that weed? What's making us any different than anybody else, folks? They're doing what they're doing because they're trying to meet a need. They're doing what they're doing because they're trying to make some kind of a connection. They're doing what they're doing for their reasons. What makes us any different than anybody else in the world without Jesus? What makes us different? Can we really answer those questions? What makes us different? I mean, okay, we know the Bible, so we know how to pray magical prayers. So we know how to do really cool stuff. We're doing church. We know how to connect with people. We're trying to talk to the people. We're trying to save the world. So we attend church every week. So we're really well known in the churches. We're in staff positions. We're clergy. We're in staff positions. We've got these positions. We've got this training. We're doing this really cool stuff. So what? folks, we're doing all this stuff in churches, out of churches. How are we making a difference in the world? You know, I live in Omaha, Nebraska, folks, and I can tell you that I've actually been booted out of various churches because I question, because I've seen the fact that the truth is, folks, it's not working, and it seems like that we're afraid to question it. And if we do question it, we get kicked out. Folks, I'm not the only one out there. I have a friend that he's had more of an attitude problem than I do, and he got kicked out. I had the same church I was kicked out of a few years ago. So it's one of those kind of things, folks. How is our faith making any difference in the world today? Okay? How is anything that we're doing as a church body making any differences in the world? Okay? I'm asking these questions, folks, because if a person can be a pastor of a church for 19 years, my thought is, folks, he may have a valid reason. Just saying. Folks, I know Jesus, and I'm letting you know. Personally, I think this guy actually has a valid reason to leave. Not that it's right. It doesn't make it right. Okay? I do personally believe that the person was probably sincerely misled and has no idea that he's been misled. So it's understandable to be walking away. I mean, that we've had all kinds of various Christian icons, Christian musicians that have publicly declared that they have walked away from the Christian faith. They did it publicly. They want nothing to do with the Christian faith, okay? And as many people were devastated by some of these big time names that have walked away, I'm probably one of the few that's actually thinking, I don't think they really walked away from the Christian faith. They walked away from religion. They walked away from churchianity. They walked away from something that really wasn't working. And that's why, folks, I do these videos. Because it seems like in our churches today, we're either not allowed to question or we're deliberately not questioning because we're afraid of the image of having it all together is going to fall apart. That's also why I'm preaching covenant, and the fact that we were born of Adam. Because if this person's life wasn't really that bad, he probably has no reason or basis to believe in this Jesus Christ. Why should he believe? Okay? It's why I question so much when I visited various churches. Because if all we're going to do is put our faith, hopes, and trust in the latest pastor, if all we're going to do is put our latest hopes and trust in whatever the latest church movement is, folks, that is probably not God moving at all. That is, in fact, probably just more movements taking place. You get various individuals up there, you get people's attention. If you can get to just the right audience, you can get enough clamor going, and people will follow pretty much anybody that sounds good. I hate saying it like that, folks, but it seems like particularly right here in America, we'll follow anybody and anything. Okay, as long as it sounds good and it gives us some kind of, I'm looking at the time, gives us some kind of a shred of hope, folks. When I saw this, I realized too that this individual did not come across as a charlatan. He didn't. Okay, so people could think of like, well, he's a wolf in sheep's clothing. From when I saw the videos, folks, he wasn't a wolf in sheep's clothing. He was actually well-meaning and very sincere. There was nothing seemingly malicious in this guy. He was a well-meaning person looking for answers, trying to find God in a place where he wasn't found. Because of a lot of misinformation, okay, which wasn't his fault, but the thing that can be very disheartening about it is the person will probably stay lost for the rest of his life. Because now he probably believes that the information he was given was truth, and now he probably feels like that it's no longer the truth, and when in fact he was given just the wrong information. And that's why when I share covenant, I share the fact that we were born of Adam, and I particularly, folks, I really hit hard on the aspect that we gotta change the thinking patterns up in here. If we don't change this and get it switch gears with what God has done, honestly, we won't see God work in our life. We won't see God doing amazing things because we don't have the patterning for it. And America today is so comfortable with comfortable Christianity that very likely, even in the next 20 years, folks, we will probably not see God doing anything in America today because we are so cozy, comfortable with our life. I mean, as I made mention in one of my other videos about the fact that America's success has become heaven's failure. We were so content. We're so comfortable with the American way of life, with the American dream. As long as you got your house, as long as you got your car, as long as you got your bank account, as long as you're able to put food on the table, you don't really need this Jesus. Just saying. We don't really need Jesus Christ in America today. As long as we are living according to the American standards of life, we really don't need Jesus. We don't. We can actually live life without Him. Told you I was being devil's advocate, folks, so don't freak out, okay? I do believe in Jesus Christ. My faith is strong in Jesus Christ. Don't freak out. I'm trying to... I'm not going to walk away from Jesus. Don't be like, oh my gosh, this guy is falling out. The things he's saying. No. I'm definitely going wholehearted with the devil's advocate, okay? Because the thing is, folks, seeing what I've seen in America, I was homeless for 3 years, and folks, when I was homeless, I saw more being homeless than ever. And I'm just like, what are we doing? Being in it, and being homeless, being able to see the homeless, and seeing the way the church is. Yes, there were many times, folks, I prayed about it, like, God, I want nothing to do with this Christian life, because I'm seeing nothing, folks. I'm right there with this atheist dude that, a year without God. I'm right there with him. Because when you see the churches and all people are doing is playing church and they're coming together, but they're not really repenting whatsoever, and the pastors are preaching and everybody's yes and amens, but nothing is happening. We're not seeing Jesus Christ high and lifted up. We're not seeing God doing anything. He's not able to, though. That's the thing, folks. That's what I'm getting at. There's what I'm getting at, folks. God is not able to reveal Himself to a people that are not expecting Him to do anything. Okay? How can God show Himself mighty in the midst of people that don't really need to see Him mighty? Okay, I mean, let's think about the life. I'm gonna hit another video series on this, folks, because this is some good stuff. And like I said, I am playing devil's advocate. I'm siding with this atheist, folks. And the thing is, I am. I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. And my friend that's also an atheist, she knows I'm a believer in Jesus Christ. Okay, I do believe. But I'm also taking the different sides of the fact that I understand why the world wants something to do with Jesus. Because we're not really seeing much happening. We can't tell if anybody in the church actually knows Jesus Christ anymore. And if anybody says anything, how dare you say that? And of course, we're accused of being judgmental. Oh, come on now, folks. Come on. Okay? We've got to come to a place where we're questioning, does anybody in the church actually know this Jesus Christ? And if not, let's do some filtering so that we can find out who actually knows Him. And for those who don't know Him, let's find out what the truth is so you can know Him. Okay, we don't want anybody wiping out and going to hell. Okay, we want everybody to come to know Jesus Christ. We want everybody to be in the same blessings that God has bought and paid for. Everybody's in it. Okay, God's covenant was for the world, but we have got to be able to filter out bad doctrine, bad theology, and get to the good stuff so that way we can all know Jesus Christ. Anyway, I'm going to be hitting up another video on the same thing because, folks, we're missing something, seriously missing something. After I saw this video of this guy that was doing the year without God, it just really got me on fire. And I thought, I need to play devil's advocate because, honestly, folks, those are out there, those of you that see yourself as atheists, I'm with you. I'm with you. The church is having a hard time even with somebody that actually believes in Jesus Christ. The church has a hard time even with believers, okay? So it's probably a good indication that half the church doesn't really know Jesus Christ. All we know how to do is play church and be religious. Not anybody's fault, but we have to bring about some aspect of correction. Whew. Good stuff, folks. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of The Domestication of a Nation. I'll see you in the next one.